So where did everything begin? What was your childhood like, and who were your early influences with building you into the man you are today?
Well, it's funny because as a kid, I was kind of quirky.
Hmm.
I was kind of a strange bird. I wasn't your typical kid who would do a lot of roughhousing and want to go play sports, after school. I wanted to draw, watch birds, look, pick flowers,
Yeah.
those kind of things, that's what I wanted to do. And so of course I got picked on for it too. I got harassed pretty good. I got harassed by not only, kids on the block, but my brothers tormented me. I was an easy target for them, and they were kind of, my older brother especially, he was a bully.
Hmm.
Um, but I had early on, um, I had been encouraged to join the wrestling team
Hmm.
in 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 my first year of high school. And when I did that, that was game changer, because I was at an age where I started to see my body develop, those mid-teens years, and you're going, holy crap, man, I'm putting on freaking muscle. This is me. I'm doing this stuff. And when you start seeing that, that encourages you to do more. All right. So, because I would go to work after school and I would run both to and from home to go to work,
Yeah.
and then uh, we bought a weight set for my basement, and it was just a cheap freaking one of those plastic concrete filled
Yeah.
dumbbells and barbells that probably almost every kid had, but man, I wore those things out. And and I sucked at wrestling. I got my ass handed to me nonstop. But by the time I was in 11th grade, I started winning,
Hmm.
a lot. And by the time I was a senior, I couldn't be beaten. I was crushing everybody, and I set high school records for takedowns. I was a state champion. So that's kind of where it began with me, as far as like appreciating the importance of being physically fit.
Hmm.
Because one of the things too that a lot of people, there's vicious cycles of events. One could be negative and one could be positive. So when you're physically fit, that gives you more confidence. When you're more confident, you could perform better, because performance and confidence work hand in hand.
Hmm.
So there's so many benefits. And prior to doing this podcast with you, one of the other benefit, and I've never talked about this on a podcast,
Amazing.
but I was thinking about it. The other benefit is, to some degree, and it shouldn't be a goal, it's cosmetics. Cosmetics, looking freaking good. I like that I could, before I go to bed and I'm brushing my teeth, look in the mirror and go, oh, thank God, you know, something like that. Because I want my wife to look at me naked and go, yeah, I'm freaking hitting that. So it gives you good confidence there too, in performing in that arena. Your confidence level just skyrockets, because the older you get, like I'm 55 years old. So the older you get, the more the less things, or the more things stop working,
Yeah.
and I'm talking physically and mentally.
Hmm.
But I'm physically and mentally running well. Everything works. It's freaking. I'm cooking with Amish butter, bro. I am rocking and a rolling. So the benefits are, they're far and wide. But that's something I don't know why I thought about mentioning that on this one to you, but anyway, there it is.
Nice. So one quick note. I did not know you were 55. I thought you were about like 40.
Yeah,
That is insane.
yeah.
So
Most people figure that that I'm like, they figure I'm early 40s. So there, I'm 55, and I've been broken up a bunch. Like hurt a lot. A
yeah,
lot of lot of reconstructive surgeries and broken bones. So
yeah. Because I was in my research for this kind of interview, I was looking at. I saw the Joe Rogan interview
mhm.
he did, And I saw that you've had a lot of reconstructions. Was there your spine, I believe, was one of them?
Yeah, that was a discectomy, so L5S1. Not a big deal. I am a human barometer because of it, though. And then I I had a massive bicep and left arm trauma. I had to have that reconstructed. My right shoulder and my right knee reconstruction. Yep. The knee sucked. That's probably the hardest. Anybody who's had, like ACL replacement,
Yep.
that surgery sucks, man. That surgery sucks. But if you have a bad back, and you got a blown disc, don't even freaking hesitate. Guys ask me, is it worth it? I'm like, fuck yes, because you have no idea how bad you feel until you feel good.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. Like a lot of people, they don't understand the discomfort until they're out of it. Do they? They don't understand
Right.
how much it was affecting them.
Right on.
So my next question: what was your biggest influence with joining the army initially? Was there someone in your family that pushed you that way, or was it something you always wanted to do?
You know what? I think there's no doubt. I'm not even going to say I think it stemmed from wrestling. From that competitive mindset, that will to win, and understanding. And I stole this quote from Coach Bear Bryant days of yore, how the will to win compares little to the will to train to win. And when you're wrestling, you learn that, man, I want to win, but in order to do that, I've got to train my ass off. I have to do that on my own. Of course, we're going to do team stuff, but in order to go to the next level, I've got to be the one who governs me. I have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted, I think as soon as I hit my senior year, I was 100% sure I was going to join the military, because I needed that next step. What's my next step? What's my next hard step in life? Because the wrestling and sports and plus I was working 3 jobs after school.
Wow.
So I wanted to, keep working, keep challenging myself. And that kind of, that mindset lasted through 22 years in the military too. What is the next step? Where do I go from here? Those kind of things.
And that's serving you well so far. So,
yeah.
So
yeah.
Once you decided, or once it was kind of set in your head, you were going to join the military, did you know that you were going to try for the special forces, or was that something that kind of developed once you were in?
No, I knew that. I knew now what branch of service, just like in the UK, all the branches of service have like special ops.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. So I went to each one of the recruiters. There was like a strip mall, and there was a recruiter row. I went to each one of them and talked to each one of them. And I asked them the same question. Hey, what do you think is the hardest thing I could do in the Marine Corps, in the Army, in the Navy, those kind of things.
Yeah.
And the Army at the time had the best answer, because they had 2 different options. One was U.S. Army Airborne Rangers, which those guys, man, they're just badass infantrymen. They're super, super squared away, master of the basics. They're some of the best infantrymen on the planet, those guys. And then the other option that the Army had was they had a 18 X-ray program, a Special Forces baby program, and it was fledgling. It was brand spanking new, and man, that just sounded cool as shit. Plus, they had like really cool recruiting posters, dudes with camouflage on and rappel ropes around their shoulder, and a big knife on the side. I was like, oh my God, I want to be that guy right there. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
So was there, what were there any standout moments for you where you thought, right, this is going to get tough when you went through the special forces, like, the Q courses and the selection programs and stuff? Were there any kind of standout moments for you that were mentally or physically difficult?
Yeah. I've got a legal pad right here, and I could just jot down like 100 of them. Well, the one thing that I recall, like different than, recruit training, like infantry basic training,
Yeah.
which, when you're a new guy in the military, no matter where you are and what land or country, you're scared shitless, man, because those guys are master of theater. They want you to be scared. They're really not going to fuck you up bad. They're not going to punch you in the they're not going to knock teeth out of your mouth, but you are scared to death of those drill instructors. But when I got to the special forces training, now you had the added discomfort of a lot of lack of sleep, a lot of hunger, a lot of cold and wet. So you had those in addition, and then you had a different level of cadre. This guy was scary in a different way. He didn't have to scream at you. He whispered, he whispered things and just talked candidly. And man, that was a whole different type of frightening right there. And then in addition, not only were you exhausted, but it's a thinking man's game. Being a special ops soldier, you are challenged mentally a lot, because you can't be some nug and be a special ops guy. It requires one to have keen intellect. So but there were tons of moments where I was like, oh my God, this is different level shit right now. This is next level. Oh, and then you have every once in a while some self-doubt.
Yeah.
It's like, so let me push that aside. Ooh, because you could feel that, that's that negative energy. You could be your own worst enemy real fast. Whew. And and then you're when you're given options to like quit, that wouldn't be bad, because I'd be in a nice warm barracks, eating 3 meals a day, gravy on meatloaf. Gravy on meatloaf would be so freaking good right now. All I have to do is just quit. And I'll be eating gravy on meatloaf with dry socks on, and I'll get 8 hours sleep tonight.
Sounds amazing. So in those times where it got difficult, were there have you got any tips for what got you through, or any kind of self-talk that you had?
I just remember wanting it. I joined special forces because I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be the next level guy, not because I wanted to wear a cool uniform or have a bunch of Velcro and fast tech snaps on my shit. I wanted to be next level guy. And I just remember really, really wanting it. It's hard to put into words because I didn't have any mantras, or, I wouldn't talk to myself, or I wouldn't, rub a crucifix, or, say a certain prayer. I just know that, man, I really, really, really wanted it. And it wasn't an easy road for me. I had many, many failures throughout my career. But the good, a lot of times in in special ops, if they expect that that not everybody's going to make it first time through. And if you fall on your dick, and it's not because you lied or stole or cheated, more than like, or cheated yourself, that's another one, more than likely they're going to give you another go. I mean, but if it's an ethical dilemma, no freaking way. You're boom, you are gone. If there's a ethical dilemma. But every time they gave me another opportunity, I was like, hell yeah, I'm taking that.
Yeah, I saw. I think it was on the Jocko Willink podcast that they literally were putting you up for schools after school after school, and you had different qualifications. So, did you have one that was kind of your favorite? What was your favorite qualification to add on to your growing list?
No doubt, favorite for a couple different reasons is combat dive qualified. So one of the hardest physical schools that our military has. I'm talking military, not just Army, but because other guys from other branches of the service go to combat dive school.
Oh, right.
It's held in Key West. So Marines go to it, Air Force go to it.
Wow.
You know, like PJs and combat controllers and Marine recon, they go to that school too. But that one, because there's a massive attrition rate, you know, and guys who go to it, they're prepared. You know, they've gone through a pre-qual type of course to prepare them for that course. So, you know, you're in that school with a bunch of studs who are ready to attack it. But there's still 2/3 attrition.
Wow.
Once again, these guys are ready. They are physically fit.
Yeah.
But 2/3, you know, so it's a massive attrition rate. And because of that, there's not a lot of guys wearing that combat dive bubble. You know, so that one was one of my all-time favorites because the cadre were extremely professional.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, man, these guys knew their shit. And there's a lot of schooling. So in between getting smoked, doing pool work, drown proofing and all that, you've got to, you know, you got to learn Archimedes principle, Boyle's law, you know, all the gas laws and all that stuff. And you know, you got to learn about atmospheres and water and the effect it's got on you and nitrogen narcosis and all the medical terminology that goes along with it. And I'm probably screwing some of that up because it's been a long time. But yeah, that was the coolest probably school. So not a qualification thing, but school that I have been to.
That is insane. So obviously, as you were saying there, a lot of the guys that were going through these schools were physically fit.
Mm-hmm.
Physical fitness has played a massive part in your career as well as your life in general.
Yes.
So what's your current philosophy when it comes to training and nutrition?
All right, so I run my own programming. I follow my own school of thought, and it's based around this program I built called Combat Strength Training.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's very, very simple. It just isn't easy. The other thing is you have to remember that hard work sucks and not everybody's cut out for it. So I do have mantras today, you know, and that's one of them. Hard work, and there's because the older you get, the harder it gets to get after it. You know, shit doesn't get easier. So if you're like guys who are in their 30s, don't stop doing shit now and saying, you know what, I'm freaking tired, because when you pass the 45 mark, that's when everything changes. So you've got to maintain that level of fitness. Another mantra I have is there was this NFL player from the 90s who said that I will do today what others won't so I could do tomorrow what others can't. Nice. So that was a quote by Jerry Rice, very self-driven dude, Hall of Famer, but he did that. So my philosophy is one is train smarter. Mm-hmm. I limit time. I train for 25 to 35 minutes a day. Nice. I do take a couple days off a week because there is no such thing as overtraining, but there is a such thing as under recovery.
Oh, massively, yeah.
Yeah. So and then my philosophy is pretty freaking simple. I break the work week down into 5 separate days: power day, strength day, speed and quickness, hypertrophy, and skills. So the work week's broken down, and now think 30 minutes. And during those 30 minutes, my formula is this: I want to work in anaerobic chunks in circuit to near metabolic threshold to meet an aerobic goal. Wow. So, you know, you're continually working during that 35 minutes. Your breaks are minuscule. Like, for instance, power day, if you just done 10 massive power movements, you can't just jump right to the next one and expect the same results. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to have that, at least that 30 seconds of because no speed, no power, you know. And then the other training philosophy I have is work in all planes of motion, mm-hmm. and in the complete muscle spectrum range. So you have to own weights. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, if you're doing let's say an Olympic lift like a deadlift, you can't just lift it up and let it go because you don't own it. You haven't owned the weight unless you could bring it back down to the ground. So in other words, you have to work eccentric, concentric, isometric, all that. And then in planes of motion, this is super, super important because we guys are very good at living, and this is a made up word, living in a sagittalistic environment.
I like
So
it.
everything's this way, you know, where we're doing bench press and curls and shit like that. In my opinion, the most important plane of motion to work is transverse, so rotational, all your rotational stuff. I like to say that in the transverse plane lives life-saving and ass-kicking. Now, the other thing, and I would say that it is the most important plane of motion to work, and I would argue that it's also the most neglected transverse plane.
Definitely.
So no matter what I'm doing, power or strength, I'm throwing a bunch of transverse stuff in there. You know, because
sorry, go on.
No, and then diet, man. You know what? Everybody thinks it's some mystery, bro. What kind of vitamins are you taking? Because you look spectacular. You know that, man. Diet is so freaking easy. It's the most ridiculously easy thing in the world. Eat food. Food doesn't come out of a bag or a box. That's a product. If it comes out of a bag or a box, it's a product. When you're in a grocery store, shop at the periphery of a grocery store. The periphery, because that's where your meat and veg is. Stay out of the bakery aisle, because that's on the periphery too. Because the whiter the bread, the sooner you're dead. But if you're just eating meat and veg, you can eat as much of that as you want. And then all you go into the guts of the grocery store is what? Coffee, olive oil, spices in the guts of a grocery store. So diet is so easy. Now, another thing with diet, guys will say, are you on a specific diet? Do you count your calories and do you weigh your grams of protein? Hell no. I eat when I'm hungry. It might be one time a day. It might be 4. You know, I'm an opportunistic eater, and I'm going to eat when my body tells me to eat. Sometime I'll eat early in the morning, like at 7. Other times I won't eat. Like today, I didn't have anything to eat until an hour ago.
Nice.
So my time. So 11:30 in the morning. Oops, I dropped my pen. It's all right. I'll leave it there. And then once again, here we go with that older thing. The older you get, the more fiber intake. You need the fiber. And one of the things that we neglect, the most important supplement that you can ingest is water. Most important supplement. Yep. Right. So like one of these, so quart, so roughly a liter, right? Roughly, yeah. Force a habit for me, wake up in the morning, pee, power slam one of those right down the gullet. Nice. Full, just power slam it right down the gullet. It's force a habit. That's been a life changer for me. I started doing that in probably the year 2000. Wow. And it's life changer. So diet is so freaking once again, it's you know, diet is simple. It's not easy. If you have kids, it's harder because, you know, you got snacks and stuff at home. You got that white bread to make them sandwiches. So you need that like separate pantry or something, you know, that you stay out of those freaking frosted cereals and shit like that, you know, and all those little goodies that the kids because kids could process all that crap, man. You know, they could process it and you want to treat kids to stuff like that. But yeah, but you also want to be able to stay away from it. So fortunately, my kids don't, not fortunately, my kids don't live with me. So fortunately, I don't have crap in the house. Yeah. My wife and I, we don't have any crap. We have no crap in the house. So if we want to snack, if we power slam a couple pints that night and we're like, man, I'm freaking hungry, I want a snack, we're eating a chicken leg or something like that. You know, or a piece of cheese or some veg. Because I can't go to the cupboard and, pull out a package of cookies.
Mm-hmm. That's good, man. So has your wife been on board with everything? Like she's one of your support systems when it comes to training and dieting?
Bro, you have no idea, man. I am one of the luckiest men in the world. Dude, she freaking rocks. She supports me. I have 100% buy-in. Not only that, but she's one of my biggest fans. Nice. I could go on and on. Let me just sum it up like this, because a lot of people see pictures of us together. My wife and I have a 25-year age difference.
Nice.
Yeah, right. But she is also the responsible adult in my life.
Nice.
Yeah, and she's a sounding board on everything. And I mean, I don't do shit without, clearing it through her first. I'm like, hey, Rebecca, what do you think about this idea? Because I have a lot of ideas.
Yep. Same.
And she's not going to drink the Kool-Aid either. No group think with us,
Yep.
She's not going to drink the Kool-Aid. She'll tell me, she'll go, or she'll say, let me think about it for a bit. And I'm like, right on. Good. But yeah, so I have 100% buy-in with her. And I'm very fortunate because and I get it, man. Not everybody does, but I do.
That is amazing. That's one of the things that we found the biggest, when it comes to clients, one of the biggest factors that is their support network. And if you haven't got that backup at home, then you're pretty much already dead in the water, because
100%, man.
If you're trying to eat, from the outskirts of the supermarket, and then your wife goes and buys, cereal,
donuts,
nuts, and whatever else, then you're doomed, unless you're insanely disciplined.
Right.
So, with your nutrition habits, has that been something that has been like a constant of eating that way, or has that been the last few years that's kind of developed? Has that always been the case?
Well, it's been a constant. The military fed us well. They didn't, you go through child line. It's good. It's good quality food, and once you get in special ops, you can eat as much of it as you want. It's not like you can just walk through once and you have to, choke it, throw it down your neck. So I was in a pretty good habit of eating well, but not until recently, because here we go again. I'm going to talk that age thing. So with age, one of the excuses guys have is, oh, I'm getting freaking old. A man doesn't, if he stays relatively physically fit, doesn't peak out until his mid 40s, which is, so for your listeners, a guy who are in their 30s, they have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Because, and I have got affirmation on that from several guys who are my age group, who go, oh man, when I was 45, I was able to run, a 1K run and this fast, and able to deadlift this much, and just like Supermen. And you get smarter, with that age. But now with age also, you got to pay attention. You got to pay way more attention to what you're eating, way more. I mean, and that's me unraveling the big mystery. When guys say, bro, you are freaking shredded. How in the great genetics? It's like, man, I work on this, and my diet is ridiculous. I've got it. So I've been concentrating on it more in the past, let's say 7 years. 8 years. So from late 40s till now, I've been concentrating on it a lot more, because I've been preaching the CST program too. So I need to practice what I preach.
Of course.
I have to make sure that I am not. And another thing guys ask is, well, do you have cheat days? Well, hell yeah, I do. I don't call them that. If I'm at somebody's house and they go, hey bro, you want a piece of pizza? I'm going to go, hell yeah. I'm not going to say, oh, my diet won't allow that. I'm going to go, hell yeah, I want pizza and burgers. I mean, if you're cooking for me, bro, I'm going to throw those down my neck like a man possessed.
So alongside what you were saying about nutrition, about you believe in eating naturally, eating good foods, wholesome foods, do you take any supplements or any like additions to that? Or do you leave that?
I don't know enough about it, and my opinion is most of that stuff is expensive urine. That's my opinion. Now, I know there's guys who are like, hey man, I'm in the supplement business, and don't say that my product is crap. I'm not. Now, here's another thing though. I do have a bottle of multivitamins in my cupboard, and every once in a while I say to myself, you know what? I feel like taking a multivitamin today. And you know what it does? It makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Whether that's placebo effect or not, I don't care. So if guys take a handful of, vitamins in the morning and it makes them feel better, fucking spend that $30 on that one little bottle. Spend that money. If it's making you feel better, eat that shit. And even if it is placebo, who cares, man? If it's working. Placebo is powerful. Now, one thing I'll do is like on hard training days
Mhm.
is a protein powder shake. So like on hypertrophy day, sometime power day, because your body, your muscles are craving that, and if I'm working hard, I know when my muscles are saying, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me. So I'll have that shake ready and I'll even sip on it during the workout.
Nice.
But besides for that, I've tried other stuff like Athletic Greens, this company, New Zealand, they're New Zealand company, right?
Yeah, I think so. I've seen that Tim Ferriss,
Yeah.
that on he's sponsored by them, I think.
So I've
Yeah.
tried that. I think it's somebody gifted it to me.
Oh wow.
And, and yes, did that make me feel better? Yes, it did. Was it placebo? I don't know, but it still made me feel better. I tried that. Somebody just said, Redcon One, they sent me some pre-workout stuff.
Yep.
No doubt that works. Whew, but I have to be careful with that stuff because I have a bad ticker.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bad heart. So,
Yeah.
but no doubt that pre-workout was like, oh my God. You could tell it's working too because your skin gets itchy.
You start to see sounds.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Everything, the air tastes like purple.
So,
Oh man.
okay, so that's a good little soundbite there. The air tastes like purple.
Yep.
So, do you have any kind of advice for people that wanted to cultivate like mental toughness and discipline? Is there any kind of tips you've picked up in your years of service and stuff that would help?
Well, to cultivate it, and we talked about this earlier, mental toughness. If you're physically fit, you're going to be mentally tougher because it's that cycle of events. Fitness levels higher, you look better, you feel better, you're more confident. And man, that confidence, that generates attitude, positive attitude. And the higher, here's a soundbite for you, the higher your attitude, the higher your altitude. So and along with that, also in addition, being mentally fit, can increase your confidence, which can increase your performance. Mentally fit. So, reading quality material, stuff that you could learn for. Like I like books, but I need information. I want information. I want to learn something from the book, not just phraseology and a writing style, but teach me some shit, man. Because I appreciate that if I am in a conversation with somebody and they're talking about sports psychology or cognitive dissonance or crap like that, I can contribute to that conversation. So once again, now confidence, increases, confidence and attitude. So, yeah, there you go. Boom.
Nice. So I think that comes under basic dude stuff.
Hell yeah, bro.
Because I've got some here actually. I've just revisiting some essential bushcraft.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Right on. Good. Yep.
Nice.
Had to put my my readers on to see that.
Nice. So it's I think that makes a lot of sense with the physical fitness playing a part in the resilience. Because I was talking to Tim Kennedy last week, and he said a very, very similar thing when he went through like the ranger selection and everything. He said a lot of it, physical fitness builds a level of mental resilience and mental toughness that you cannot get outside of the physical realm. Like you can't read a book about being physically tough.
Right.
You have to go through it and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
So on a bit of a different note, so obviously I've seen on Instagram that you're super busy. You've got your badge, you've got CST, you've got your firearms training, you've got all these things going on. How do you balance everything with your relationships and your businesses and your work? How does everything kind of sync up?
Well, you have to prioritize, right? You have to make. So for me, I make a kind of a mission essential task list. So you got your medal. So I make my mission essential task list every night. So I work on dry erase boards. I love them. I have one there, I have one there, and I have, they're everywhere. Yes. But my setup is 3, right? There's a 3-tier setup. So one of them is, I'm looking at it right there. It's over my computer screen, and that's for this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big calendar with a dry erase board, so I can draw on what's going on this year. I have one in my laundry room that I walk by every day, several times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's got this, what's going on this week, or within the next 2 weeks. So it's like, what podcasts I have to do, what Zoom conferences, it could be, meeting with so-and-so, whatever it is. So that's the stuff that I have to do this week. And then I have one more in my kitchen, and that's what needs to be done tomorrow. So at night I draw it out, or during the day, like right now, I'll erase something on it. And because I will have accomplished that task. And then during the day, something else will fill its void. Like, oh, shoot, I don't have time to do that today, but tomorrow I'm going to tackle, especially during this coronacation. Especially now, it's coming real handy, because that's been a way of life for me for a long time. Something that I learned in the military, take your instructions from the board type of thing. So I'm still doing that. I'm still taking my instructions from the board, but I am writing it down. It's me generating responsibility for me. And so when I wake up in the morning, I have this list. So now I have meaning, I have meaning and purpose, because this shit needs to get done. Is it top priority? Hell no, it's not. I'm not saving the world, but I know that this stuff needs to get done, especially to give you purpose, to give you meaning. Because when you start checking the things off, when you start erasing those tasks, you get that sense of accomplishment. It's like, all right, man, I did that. Whew, next thing, boom, I did that. Whew. And the other thing that's on there, speaking of this, since it revolves around the working out, the day before, I write down the workout for tomorrow.
Nice.
So not in detail, just like tomorrow is strength day. So I'll write that down at night. So now it's like subliminal manipulation. I go to bed thinking, tomorrow's strength day. And I might think about it. Yeah, what am I going to do? Because I want to do something different. So that might help put me to sleep, thinking about the different movements I'm going to do. So in the morning, I see that. And I'm like, so this morning, I woke up, went to the bathroom, drank my quart of water, look at my list. And my list says, today is strength day. I'm like, yeah, it's strength day.
Get it.
Right on. Because power day sucks, man.
Good stuff. Man, those power workouts look insane. And especially, like you said, with going back to what you said about the transverse plane, I work with a lot of fighters, like professional fighters, athletes. I've worked with people that do, counter-terrorism work, and massively agree that the transverse plane is where you develop power and the ability to fuck someone up. Like,
there's no doubt. Yeah. I mean, you probably heard me say this, but think about the reasons why we want to work out. There's 4 basically. I could add a 5th one, which is the cosmetics. I want my wife to want to fuck me.
Yeah.
But 4 reasons why we should work out. Number 1, self-preservation, longevity.
Yep.
Number 2, the ability to save your own life. Number 3, the ability to save somebody else's life. That's important to me. And because I will never want to relinquish the opportunity to be Batman. And number 4, the ability to kick somebody's ass. So those 4 reasons, but all 4 of those are transverse plane. All 4 of those.
Definitely.
Even self-preservation, longevity, because you need that strong core, those strong hips, that good pelvis that isn't developing muscular, bad muscular developments. Yep.
Yeah. It's I think it makes a lot of sense. Like, there's so many people out there that, and I found it with talking to a lot of anyone that's involved in forms of combat.
Yeah, man.
Is they have the exposure to the stuff that really works, and especially with talking to you and Tim, the stuff that is essentially going to save your life or your body's life.
Right.
Like, there's no bigger priority really than that, is there?
Right. No, that should be, it's something I do this when I work with guys on the range.
Yeah.
You know, they're from, the demographic is far. It's very, very wide. And the skill set disparity is very wide too. And I'll see a guy moving on the range and I'll realize, man, this guy has good footwork. You know, he's probably a soccer player, played some baseball, did some boxing, whatever. But I see that he's overweight too. And he's like mid-30s. And I'll say, hey, bro, you have kids? He goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's when I'll pull him off to the side sometime and say, hey, your footwork is freaking awesome. Keep it that way. Keep it that way. Because there's guys out here who are fit and their footwork sucks. You know, they look like freaking Donald Duck. But in order to keep it that way, you know, you gotta lose some weight. You gotta stay fit. And he's like, oh man, you are so freaking right. You know, damn. And then I'll shame him too with the kids thing. I say, you got kids, right? You got to, you know, you're the agent in charge of your own executive protection detail, bro. I mean, you got to protect those kiddies. You got to be able to scoop them up. Just think, scoop up whatever. What is a 8-year-old kid weigh? Like, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, be able to scoop that up and run 200 meters with that thing. Yeah, right? Be able to run 200 meters. You know, think about that. Can you do that without falling apart?
Yeah, without having a heart attack.
Yeah.
I find that a lot. Like I've got a 9-year-old daughter who does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with me, which is amazing.
Cool.
She did Krav Maga for a while as well. And like you see the kids doing the classes and they just breeze through these classes. And then you see some of the adults that are doing the warm up and they're, you know, sweating and they're out of breath.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I've literally, just before our lockdown started, I had my son was born. So I've got a 10-week-old son.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And
nice.
Now I'm a heavy guy, so I'm cutting weight now. So I'm watching my food intake and making sure I get in the garden, because I've got like a pull-up bar and dip station made out of scaffolding.
Yep.
And I've got some heavy kettlebells and some clubs and stuff. So
good for you, bro.
Getting after it and trying to be the best role model that I can as well.
Yep.
So yeah, that's super important to me.
Hey, that reminded me of something. I just want to bring this up real quick. Some, you know, body composition and makeup, some guys are naturally heavy and they're always going to be that way.
Yeah.
They're just I could see when they come to the range, you know, you could see it in his facial features and his neck, and that he's never, ever, ever going to be a rail. Just like a rail is never going to be a heavy guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But we could be the best version of us's.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Right on.
Because it's basically just maximizing what you do have, isn't it? It's just,
right.
If you are overweight, work your way towards being leaner and stronger and faster and more flexible.
Yeah, man.
So if people wanted to reach out to you or find out about your various products or services, where would be the best places to go?
The easiest is my company name, TMACS, TMACSINC, TMACS Inc. Because that's me on IG, it's me on Facebook, that's me on a Google search. Mm-hmm. and I have a cool YouTube channel too, Pat Mac YouTube channel.
Nice.
But that's it, TMACS Inc.
Nice. So what I'll do is I'll put all the links and everything in the description on YouTube, and I'll let you know when it all goes live and everything.
Cool.
What I'll do is I'm going to stop recording in a second, but I won't stop the call. But I just want to say thank you. I know obviously I'm not American, but I wanted to say thank you for your service, because
cool. Thanks, bro.
We're all in this together. But as a thank you for your time, what I'd like to do is, as well as giving you like a shout out, I've got a very, very big Facebook group. So if you've got any products that you wanted listed for them, like the bands and stuff, then just let me know. But then also I'd like to make if there's a charity that you know of, like a veterans charity or something, I'd like to make a donation, you know, for today's time.
Wow, that's badass, man.
Yeah, because it's, like I say, we're all in it together. And I really, really appreciate your time. And
yeah, man. Well, like you said, I can mirror the same thing. We're all in this together, and I've been doing a lot of these because why not? Yeah. You know, guys are asking, I'm like, hell yeah, because that is also charitable. You know, it's all, you know, it's just time. and I have more of it right now. So why not? You know, why not? Why not convey a positive freaking message? Because if you and I can make somebody a better versions of themselves, then man, that you hit the success block right there. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah, you check that success block. So cool, very cool.